I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog.stampwithelaine.com. Today's project is this gorgeous Peekaboo box customised to fit a 100-gram Lindt chocolate bunny. They're readily available at all our supermarkets in the UK. Unfortunately, they don't actually have individual boxes, they come loose like that. So I wanted to make a bespoke box for it. It doesn't damage the chocolate and it just fits nicely in there. This is my prototype. I'm still not sure about the decoration, but I couldn't find my Tranquil Tide ribbon to match this, so that's why it hasn't got a sentiment. The set called You're Inspiring isn't new, it's in the annual catalogue. I'm going to make this in lemon lime twist because I can find the matching ribbon for that, but I couldn't find the one for Tranquil Tide. To make the box you actually need two sheets. One is larger than the other. We call the larger piece the front of the card A and the smaller piece B. The measurements for A is 9 3/8 inches by 6 5/8 inches. In metric, that's 23.8 by 16.8 centimeters. Piece B in lemon lime twist is 8 3/4 inches by 6 5/8 inches. That's 22.2 centimeters by 16.8 centimeters. I've got a scrap of shimmery white cardstock, and I've also cut some multi-purpose adhesive sheet to stick on the back, because I found it really fiddly to try and put glue on this and glue it to the box. So to save myself time, sticky fingers and trouble, I'm using the multi-purpose adhesive sheet. You need your Simply scoring tool, and at the same time I'm going to use this to help me attach the multi-purpose adhesive sheet. Now with shimmery white cardstock, you can use it either side. They're shimmery both sides. I don't know whether you can see that. So it doesn't matter which way up you put your cardstock coming. So I'm going to pop that in the corner, anchor that down first. Then I can remove the rest of the runner on the top here on the adhesive sheet. Pull that back, and then as I pull the protective sheet off, I can press that down as well to prevent air bubbles, and just keep going until it's all stuck down. Now you need to remember which way to stamp. So this is the top. I'm going to mark it because it's hard to tell which side is which. The inks I'm using are Tuxedo Black Memento ink, lemon lime twist, an aqua painter, and also some stamping blends. So I'm going to be using Daffodil Delight combo and the Pumpkin Pie combo. You'll also need a 6x8 cello bag, 1-inch circle punch, and the detailed trio punch will neat the corner round a bit. Lemon lime twist ribbon, mini ruffled ribbon, rectangle stitched framelets, and a magnetic platform and your big shot. Begin by doing some scoring. You take your piece A, which is the larger one. This is the piece that measures 9 3/8 by 6 5/8. So with the short side at the top, you score at 1/2 inch and 2 5/8 inches. Rotate your cardstock 90 degrees anti-clockwise so that the 1/2 inch score line is at the bottom. With the long side at the top, you score at 1/2 inch, 2 5/8 inches, and 7 3/8 inches. Now set that aside and score B. This is the back of your box. Short side at the top, this also measures 6 5/8 inches. You score at 1/2 inch and 2 5/8 inches. Rotate your side B cardstock clockwise so that the narrow score line is at the top, and you score at 2 inches and 6 3/4 inches. I'm staying with B at the moment, and I'm just going to put a strip of tear and tape in the middle here. Before I do any cutting. And that acts as an aid memoir as to where the join of the box is. So I'm going to angle my cut there to the first score line on this flap where the double-sided tape is. And I've got the flap on the left hand side, and I'm just going to cut from this little rectangle off. Okay, then there's a score line next to it, that's the tab, and I'm going to cut that as well. Alright, then I'm just going to take a wedge turn it 180 degrees so that the narrow flap and the double-sided tape is on the right. I cut straight up to that first score line again and take that off. The next score line along, I cut on that straight up and take a wedge then on the side B with the double-sided tape and the narrow tab on your left, you want to cut this section off. So take your scissors and cut across there. Take your 1/8 circle punch, find the centre, which is about there, and take a notch out of it. Okay, so now you know that's your side B. So here's my template. You want the narrow score line on the left. You need the narrow score line at the top and the wider score line at the bottom. So this is the bit you need to cut off. We don't want that section, we don't want this section. Okay, and we don't want this section. Can you see that? So let's get our scissors, no, let's get our tear and tape first. And I'm just going to put the tear and tape in between these two little rectangles that we don't want. Just shy of the score line. Now I've got the narrow tab on facing me, and I'm just going to angle a cut there and there. Okay, then I'm going to cut away that rectangle, and the score line next to it, I'm just going to cut all the way up to that first score line, and I'm going to wedge it. Rotate this cardstock 180 degrees so that that narrow score line is now facing me at the bottom. I'm going to cut this score line right up to the second score line here. I'm going to cut away the square and the rectangle, and I'm going to cut away that bit as well. Then take a wedge out of that section and one out of this section. Next we want to corner round this section here with the narrow score line and insert it into the detailed trio punch. press from the middle and do the same on this side. Okay, now bring in the magnetic platform, your base cutting plate, cardstock. You want the flap on the left side and fold that back so it's laying on the top. We need to do that so that the cardstock will fit in through the big shot. Take your rectangle framelits, and we want this size, I think, which is the 4th one in, and that one measures 2 3/16 inches by 3 9/16 inches. So we want to position it so that there's equidistance between the top and the bottom, and say about halfway. I'm going to pop a bit of washi tape on there to make sure it stays in position. Place my top cutting plate on top, and then I'll run it through the big shot. Now I need to do this twice because I want to make the aperture slightly bigger. As you can see on this, my template, I've originally cut it that size, and then I had to move it so it would be a little bit bigger. So here's my die cut aperture. Now I flip it over to the reverse side, and I want to put double-sided tape along the inside of this, and that's to attach the cello bag. Now this is the top of the cello bag, and I'm going to use the natural crease of the cello bag and position it in the corner of the box like so, so I don't actually have to crease it, but I have to have sufficient to extend beyond this piece of double-sided tape. So I'm just going to cut off the closed end here, so I've got more to work with, and perhaps I can then get 2 out of just the one bag. Just measure from here to the end of there, which is 2 1/4 inches. So now on both the open ends, okay, so measure 2 1/4 inches. And then just cut down the middle. Measure the height, that's 4 1/4 inches, so make sure that is 4 1/4 inches. So I'm going to remove the backing tape up until that crease and prepare my bunny ears. Release the backing tape from there up until that score line, and then make sure where the fold is, that's the fold. Maybe you need a bit of cardstock at the back to see. So I'm going to place my cello bag with a crease along that score line. Okay, and then stick that down and release the backing tape, and want to release the rest of that. Okay, then fold that over, and you need to trim off that bit there because it's too big. So all you have to do is just run your scissors along there. Now you can burnish all the lines on piece A and piece B. And you need to join them together. So orient it so that the double-sided tape is on your left. The flap and lid is on the top with your window sheet. This side tab for the back is also on the left. Remove that and join it together. And make sure that's down properly. Remove the backing tape from this portion here and bring that over and fold it down. Put double-sided tape on these 3 tabs except the front. So you do the side panels first. Remove the tape. Let me fold that box first. Put the lid on to make it a bit sturdier. That's better. Okay, that 2 down. That's the front of the box, so that's last. So you want that first. I'm just going to get a bone folder, turn the box upside down to make sure that those are down properly. Then I can take the tape off this 3rd flap and fold it back. Put my Lindt bunny in and close the box. And now for some stamping and decoration. I've decided not to have the daffodils all across. I'm just going to simplify it and just stamp's too big, so I'll take the ink pad to the stamp. Remember that technique I showed you about partial die cutting with a frame? I think I'll do that for this daffodil. I've decided against it, but I've drawn a rectangle through it. It's too difficult to do, so I'll just fussy cut it like that. I'm just winging it and designing it as I go along. Let's do some colouring now. Daffodil Delight combo and the pumpkin pie combo. So I'm just going to do the trumpet bit in the dark. Followed by the Daffodil Delight dark. Oh darn, I forgot to press record. So I've picked up some ink from my ink pad with an acrylic block and used that as my palette. And as I was saying, you don't have to be frightfully accurate with this. The shimmer cardstock is more tolerant with using water on it. Allow that to dry before I do anything else with it. I'll remove the backing paper and put that on my box. Waste not, want not. I'll stamp Happy Easter. This was the leftover from die cutting this. Memento black ink. I'll just stamp Happy Easter on here. Going to tie a ribbon round the base of the box. I think I'll just cut that tab, it's just too big. Pop some dimensionals on the back. And pop that there. Have to do this again. I'm not happy with that result at all. I'm much happier with this one. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. If you like it, do give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and share on Facebook, and my grateful thanks if you do. These products are available from my online store. If you haven't got a demonstrator already, I'd love to be yours. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye!